Welcome back. Today we have 36 tiny cardboard candy bars from Force of Will. Let's get started. This is going to be a lot of packs, so I'll explain on the way. I was able to find this booster box on eBay for a whopping $16. I figured, you know what? That's some great value. I'm going to have fun opening that box. I know at least a few people on the internet who might have fun opening it with me. Let's see if I can... there we go. That might be a little bit better. Hopefully that's some acceptable lighting. Some of these cards are a little bit darker, so hoping you can see all the details there. This is one of the earlier sets that was released. Okay, that's pretty cool. Very subtle hollow pattern going on there. I don't know if you can quite catch that. Magic Stone. Jekyll the Order. And Eden the Crimson Garden. Lots of neat artwork on these. So this set is called The Moon Priestess Returns. This is from the Grimm Cluster all the way back in 2015. Now this is, they're still making sets, so they're still coming out. By no means is this game, defunct or anything. There's lots of collectors, lots of players out there. And you can still get product on TCG Player and on eBay. Look at that. That's super cool. All right. No real rhyme or reason to the placement of these, but looks like we got 2 hollows in a row there. This Abel, Avenger of Gods, is really cool. There's our Magic Stone, Void Blast, and Kane Complex. That's intense. Yeah, so the Grimm Cluster was actually the second cluster that Force of Will came out with. The first one was called Valhalla. However, that first set, well, 3 sets technically, a couple of them were only in Japan, but that first cluster was not really cohesive with the rest of what we know of the mechanics in the game currently. Flying Carpet. Okay, we got our first hollow there. Story is told in 1001 Nights. Seems like they're probably Arabian Nights. Tsukuyomi, the Moon City. Very neat. But yeah, that first set, it's almost like a playtest. It was interesting that they changed a lot about the game after that. So a lot of collectors really consider the Grimm Cluster to be the beginning of Force of Will as we know it. Cool. Moon Priestess Returns is the 3rd set in the Grimm Cluster. Preceded by the Castle of Heaven and the 2 Towers. But one thing that's kind of interesting is those boxes go for over $200. So it's kind of crazy. Oh, there we go. Little Red, the Pure Stone. These are sought after. They come in multiple colors. I think it'd be neat to get a green one. Okay, we've got Morgana the Wise Servant, and that Kane Complex again. But yeah, it's crazy that Castle of Heaven and the Two Towers and Moon Priestess Returns are so wildly different in price. I can only imagine it has to do with the supply and demand over the years. Again, these were 2015, so I imagine there have been many cycles of people getting back into the game, rediscovering the cards, learning to play. And there are different play styles too, so some of them allow you to use older cards still, and others only use a modern format, kind of like with Magic. Mind Reading Fox, that's a cool artwork. But yeah, so these cards have a little bit of fluctuation in their pricing from time to time. I've seen some go as high as $800 for a booster box, and you got some product that's like $10, but not for booster boxes. I think this is probably the cheapest I've seen any booster box since I started following along. They should still have some available if you check out eBay. That's pretty cool. Hastur the Unspeakable. A little bit of hollow going on there. This is a very subtle hollow pattern. It's almost difficult to catch on the camera. Black Moon and Jubal, the Grandsire of Musicians. Very cool. An added bonus to this set in particular, which if you've been in the Force of Will world for a while, you probably already know this. There is a misprint card called Cheshire Cat that had a little bit of drama and was supposed to be censored, but the my understanding or something I read online suggested that it's possible the artist put the uncensored version back in right before printing. Genesis Creation, that's really neat. Look at that. I like that card. Magic Stone of Moonshade. Got a Shahryar, the Distrust King, and Kai the Frozen Heart. But yeah, so Cheshire Cat became a bit infamous for being somewhat censored, and that one uncensored version slipping through, and it just happens to be in the Moon Priestess Returns. So there's a possibility we might find that misprint card. And if we do, it is worth about $100 resale right now. So that would pay for like 4 or 5 of these boxes. Byakhi, the Winged Lady. That's a pretty lady. All right, we got a Magic Stone of Light, Barrier Field, Savior of Splendor. Thought about just ripping these packs open, but I tested a few, and it is a royal pain to get a clean rip on these. Oh, that's upside down. Pilot of Universe. Is this the person who's to blame for everything that's going crazy? Man, we need a new universe pilot. Oh, there we go. Alice. Guardian of Dimensions. Alice features heavily as a character in many of the future sets that came out after this one. Exceed the Ancient Magic. Really neat. Yeah, just for fun, let me demonstrate here. That was not quite as easy as using the scissors. Look at this space bird. I mean, like, who thinks to draw this? Ooh, Zero, Magus of Null. Zero's another very popular character that shows up from time to time. Yeah, that's really cool. Oh, man. Apollosphere, the Moonlance. It's a neat looking staff there. Let me see if I can get another clean. Yeah, the downside to this too is that it damages the front of this so that it doesn't look nice and clean from the front anymore. I like to make repacks for myself, creating boosters out of my bulk cards so that I can go back in a couple of years and reopen them and have more fun with it. There's Hastur the Unspeakable. Magic Stone of Water. There's the Moon City again, and Hide the Chaos, so that no one can find it. Yeah, then you have this, like, it's hard to do those in a controlled fashion. Of course, most people are just like, it's a booster wrapper. You're going to throw it away. I don't throw mine away. Akashic Records of Eternal Flame. That is really neat. Some awesome color in there. Okay, we got Magic Stone of Wind. Book of Genesis. Shooting Star. Yeah, so there's actually some interesting, like, religious iconography going on in this one. Although, as a theme, there is a lot of mythology and borrowed literature for the characters from all different sources. I think I mentioned this in my video about all the different trading cards, that Force of Will relies heavily on doing a rehash of some mythological stuff. We've got like Arthurian, we've got some Cthulhu. Not super surprising to see some hints of religious stuff too. I actually have not seen any Egyptian stuff, so I wonder if that's in some of the future sets. Okay, we got Abel again. Avenger of Gods. There's another Akashic Records. Magic Stone of Flame, Exceed, and Void Blast. We are less than halfway through. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of boosters. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you're enjoying getting to take a look at this. There's a little bit of Arabian stuff going on there. Yep, there's that 1001 Nights. Black Moon and Morgana the Wise Servant. There's an Arthurian reference. There's surprisingly sparse Force of Will content on YouTube. I have looked for a couple of different set reviews and I just couldn't find any. There was one excellent, here we go, Campanella the Milky Way Moon. That's a fascinating card. Just a random person there. Not nearly as bizarre and exciting as a lot of the others. And Aladdin's Lamp. Doesn't get much more Arabian than that. But yeah, there's a really good video out there that walks through the history of Force of Will up to a couple of years ago. And it contains some really cool backstory about the card game and the competitive scene. Be worth checking out if you can find it. I the Pilot. Wonder if he's related to iRobot. Magic Stone of Water, Shooting Star, and Jekyll. One of these days I would like to try playing the game. See what it's all about. See if it's as interesting as Magic. Total Eclipse of the Heart. Cross to Bear. Holy Warrior. Speaker of Creation. King in Yellow. Right, Fallen Comet in Hollow. I think that's the first one of those we've seen. Magic Stone of Light, Jubal, and Mind Reading Fox. We got our Apostle of Paradise, Nightmare Aliens, Milky Way again. I guess it's to be expected. You go through the entire booster box, you're bound to see a few duplicates. Apollo Break the Moonblast. That's neat. Got a Magic Stone of Moonlight. Which, actually, I think that is holographic. That's really hard to tell. But yeah, there's a subtle effect on that one. Yang Mage of Decrescent. Fascinating. Open Sesame. Call of Cthulhu. Sweet Rose. I wonder if that's a Beauty and the Beast reference. Crime and Punishment. I mean, if you're just going to take the title of books. Okay. Geherda, the Tear of Passion. Magic Stone of Wind. The First Lie. Morgana. Spawn of Blazer. There's our pilot. Birdcatcher. All right, here we go. We got a Yog-Sothoth, the Dark Myth. There's your Nightmare Fuel if you needed some more of that. And of course the Resonators Cthulhu. Very cool. Flame of Outer World. That's scary. There's the Book of Genesis in the back there. Okay, our hollow is a glimpse of Kaguya. We have a hollow Magic Stone of Moonshade. Hide the Chaos, save your splendor. Interestingly, this box was a little bit damaged in the corner. I don't know if you can see that just down here, but maybe that's why they were selling these at such a discount. I actually had to submit an offer because it was going for $18.99 and they accepted $16, so pretty good deal. Got another Zero. Fantastic. That is a gorgeous card. I don't even know if those are worth anything, but now I've got two. So I could keep one, try to sell one, maybe buy another box. Who knows? Black Goat. Bind of Gravity. It's a rook. Okay. So we've got a Shub-Niggurath, the Goddess of Fertility. I'm actually kind of surprised that one wasn't censored. I guess it doesn't technically show anything, but that's intense. We got Jin, the Spirit of the Lamp. A little bit of nice iridescence on that green there. And, oh, Eden, the Crimson Garden. All right, we got a few more of these. Let's say a few more. I think we've got at least 5 or 6 in there. Wind Dagger. Looks like a metal dagger to me. So White Spirit. And the Hound of Tendalos. That's kind of... I actually am not able to recognize what I'm even looking at here. So there's that. Okay. Go. What treasures do you hold? Tiny cardboard candy bar. Elixir of Immortality. I mean, that's pretty good. Seth. I was wondering where Seth was. Hi, Seth. I guess Seth has been busy arbiting things. Whatever that means. There's our Magic Stone of Moonlight, Jekyll, and Barrier Field. That's pretty cool. Seems like something you would see in an anime. Oh, I missed a card. Yeah, there it goes. We got Shantak, Phantasm, Carpet, Pilot, Glyph, Sinbad, the Windrider Merchant. All that gold. Good old Sinbad. And Seth again. Put that with the other Seth. All right, we're down to our last 6 packs. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, let me know. If you're not, let me know. I'm just doing whatever I think seems fun and fits the budget. If you have requests, make them, please. Kaguya, the Immortal Princess. That is a cool card. Looks kind of familiar. I feel like maybe I've seen it somewhere. Can't quite put my finger on it, though. Yeah, always cool to get the card on the box art. Put that in a sleeve here in a little while. Akashic Records. A couple of those. We're getting down to it. You know, I forgot to mention this, but if you don't already know, J rulers, as indicated by the little JR at the bottom there, used to have art on the backside. They stopped doing that at some point. I don't know if they ever started again, but yeah, that was something fun they used to do in these older sets. I think there's generally like 1 J ruler per box, or there used to be. I don't know if they're still doing that anymore either. Okay, we got Giovanni all by himself. Looks a little bit like Zelda. Or Link, whatever. All right. Oh, I might have been mistaken about having 6 left. Yep, there's more in there than I thought. Lucky us. Holy Warrior of Hope. Could use one of those. All right, got another Yog-Sothoth. Be cool to have a whole army of those. Alice. Magic Stone of Wind. Shooting Star. You can wish on that if you want. I don't know that it will do any good. Looks like a bit of a bent corner there. Luckily, it does not seem to have affected any of the cards because they're back here. That is something that Force of Will does really well. The rares are sandwiched in between non-rares, so it's less likely you'll get damage from the front or back. Split Heaven and Earth. This card deals 300 damage to each player for each special magic stone that he or she controls. That's probably a lot. I don't know anything about this game, but that sounds like a powerful card. There we go. Look at this gorgeous cardboard. There's so much of it. We got Blazer, the Eater of Dimensions. That is cool. And then behind it, got another Apollo Sphere. 40 Thieves, Familiar of Wind, White Spirit. Okay, this card has no title because it's down here. Cain the Trader of Gods. Wait, that's a J ruler. So, I guess there wasn't just one per box? Wow. That's neat. We got 2 J rulers in that box. There's our glimpse of Kaguya. A couple of those. All right, last 3 packs. Okay. Got a Feithsing, Magus of Holy Wind. I don't know that we've seen this one before. Very cool. And there's our Flame of Outer World. Okay. Can't tell. I don't think that one was hollow. Ragnarok, Divine Sword of Savior. Wow. Got some Norse mythology going on there. Ragnarok. That's a cool game, by the way. If you've never played Ragnarok online, you should check it out. Last pack. What could be inside? Got a Shantak. Split Heaven and Earth is our first hollow. And our only hollow. That's it. Cool stuff, though. We got 2 J rulers. One of which was the box art. That's always a good time. Put those down gently and sleeve them here in a little while. But as always, we have a bonus pack from Battle for Adoratica. This is from the Alice Cluster. These boxes go for about $35. So even though it's twice the cost of the other booster box, it's still extremely affordable for 36 packs. And these were from 2016, I want to say. That's cool. There you go. Engineer of Leganis is our hollow. So I guess by the time the Alice Cluster came around, they started putting the hollow at the back with these little pieces of paper. So yeah, interesting changes over time. It's fascinating to see how a card game develops like that. There you have it. Cool stuff. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and I'll hopefully be able to open some more booster boxes in the future. Like and subscribe if it suits your fancy, and I'll catch you in the next one.